And we can, thanks Floyd, and we can modify it if needed as we go along here. So I'm Myron Babcock, President Treasurer of the Deep Space Exploration Society. And this is our engineering meeting for the month of August. And we will not have a science meeting at the end of the month like we normally do. We're taking a summer break for the science projects meetings. However, we will resume the second meeting of the month, or the science meeting, in September. And will probably end up being a coordination meeting because it'll be just a week prior to the open house on October 5th. So there will be a meeting in September on the fourth Monday, and we will use that Zoom internet link for that meeting that we sent out earlier later in the week. So as far as introductions go, we have board members with us on the board, and Don Latham is currently, wave your hand, Don, you're in Montana. Rick Hambley is north of Colorado Springs. Bill Miller, our project engineer for the building, is here, vice president and board member. And we have Paul Sabone and up in the Denver area. We have Floyd Glick, our secretary, and Dan Lane up in Larkspur, just north of Colorado Springs. And who'd I miss? And Ray Ubricken, our chief engineer, chief bottle washer, in charge of all the activities when it comes to the dish feeds. And he'll talk more about that. As far as any new people that showed up here, we have, I see Alex is with us. Are you in Chandler, Arizona, Alex? Or traveling around? So we've got Alex with us.
In Chandler, yeah.
Okay, he's back home in Chandler. And Martha, Bill, you want to do the introduction for Martha? I just, she's the one you took for a tour in the site several years ago.
Yes, I believe so. Martha and her partner came out to the site last summer, and while we were doing some work, and we had lost power, and they got a tour of the facility and showed them around. And a later time, I believe, with one of the philanthropy organizations in Denver, we got a grant from them for $1,000 to do some educational work. We've used that for our science fair awards, and we still have some of that money left. And we're going to do probably a classroom presentation and a demonstration and some work. Dan Lane's going to do some work with the Eads school down there in Eads, in the Eads High School, and he's contacted the science professor down there. And so we're going to use that money for that too. And so we really appreciate the extra help that Martha gave us. And I hope you can come out to our open house this year, Martha, and see what we've done.
So yeah, thanks, Martha. It was a Denver Foundation she was working through, and appreciate the grant money we got from her. Dan, Bill was talking about the grant, or the Eads High School project. Can you quickly cover that real quick here in this portion of the meeting? If you're on the audio there, Dan.
Yeah, hopefully I can. My internet connection is unstable tonight, so I may drop in and out. Life in the country. But yeah, so DSES gave a grant to Joe Wagner, the science teacher at Eads High School, to do a project called CHART. It's CHART, which stands for Completely Hackable Amateur Radio Telescope. And basically it's similar to the DSP IRA horn project. So it's a horn for hydrogen. The horn is made out of some sturdy cardboard, and you just line it with tinfoil, hook up a little probe for an antenna, connect it to LNA and SDR, just the basic RTL SDR, and put it on your computer, and they give you some software. So it's around $300, and you can be observing hydrogen. And so it's a ideal project for Joe, because I think he's pretty much a hands-on guy. He likes projects like this, and it's not a complicated project, and so we're hoping he can get going, and we may even invite him to do a demo or just show us what he's got at the open house.
All right, thanks a lot, Dan. I did write that check for $300 and it sent it to the Eads High School via Joe Wagner. And,
Okay, thanks.
and that will hopefully be used soon for that project. And were you working with somebody in Arizona on this project as well? Dan?
There was an undergraduate student at Arizona State University. I forget her name right now. There's actually several. There's a college in I don't know, Minnesota or Wisconsin somewhere doing this, and then also Arizona State University is kind of the people kind of overseeing this and getting more high schools involved. They do summer workshops for high school teachers, and they provide some cloud space so high schools that collect data can push their data up to the cloud and have it analyzed and compare data. So yeah, Arizona State is also involved.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for heading this up, and really appreciate all the effort you're putting into this and overseeing it. We had that money we received in that $1,000 grant. We added it to $800 we had in another account for a propane tank that we were eventually going to use or sell. And we ended up with about $1,800 in that account. We spent, I think, close to $400+ for science fair prizes back in February, March timeframe, and then we just spent $300. So we're down about $1,100 in that educational fund. So that's what, and hopefully we can get some more money into that via some donations and reallocate some funds we have in other accounts to make other projects like Dan has worked with the Eads High School, maybe some other local schools in Southeast Colorado. Any questions on that particular project before we continue on? The announcements. The announcements, as far as it goes, we have a ham fest coming up at the end of August. We've already got a table reserved with 2 tickets. Paul Sabona and Bill Thomas is. Bill, are you going to be able to handle this one as well? I'm sorry you were sick during the last one. Thanks a lot for stepping up, you and Paul, for this ham promoting DSES at the Ham Fest. And speaking of promotion, Paul Sabone and Roger Oakey and Alex all met each other on the East Coast in Trenton, New Jersey this past weekend for an EME conference. So what do you have, Paul, to report on that?
Let's see. Yes, I'm making sound here. Okay, good. Just want to make sure this microphone's working. Oh, we had a great time. Best conference I've ever been in. It's the first and only conference I've ever been on that was all about EME, and we really enjoyed it. Met a lot of great people. By the way, speaking of one of the people I met, he's on the call right now. It's Mark Drayton there. Why don't you just give us your call there, Mark? Can you do that? Can you turn on your audio?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Yeah.
Okay, I'm Mark, VK6PY from Western Australia.
Yeah, very good. Mark's going to come down on Friday. Ray and I are going down on I hope we're still going down, Ray, on Friday. And Mark's going to try to get down there on Thursday night and stay at the hotel there in Eads and meet us down there. And he doesn't know about this yet, but he's going to have to work while he's there. We've got some antenna work that has to be done, so we can always use arms and legs, man.
Okay, no problem.
But you're gonna get a firsthand look at everything. Anyway, cool. Thanks very much, Mark, for joining us, and you've also joined, I believe, the DSES group.io. So you'll be getting messages and stuff like that over there in Perth. Let's see what I can share here. I'm having some trouble with these pictures, so you'll have to bear with me. I'm not doing so well with them, but I'll see if I can do a share here. You've all seen this picture here, I think. Yeah, I think you've seen that one. There's another one over here. And I guess you know who this is, or maybe you don't. This is Skip from Alberta, and he was there, of course, along with Grant VE6TA, and they they did a good job there. They had a lot of fun, and I'm sure they drank a lot of ale and other things. Let's see who else is here. Oh yeah, there's another picture here if I can get it up there. Come on, Paul. Yeah, there we go. This is yeah, okay. So this is Alex, another Alex, HB9DRI. And Alex is the prime guy with HB9Q, which you guys probably know. We worked them in the EME contest. They're like one of the strongest signals out of Switzerland. And he's very excited about our project with Venus, and he wants to participate as much as they can, and even provide us with remote access to their dish. And I said, well, that's a lot. So anyway, he seems to be pretty excited about it there. And this is Mark KL6M from up in Alaska, and he was down at this conference as well. So we have a lot of people there. Here's another fellow, which we had at the conference, and this is, anybody know? This is Joe Taylor.
Joe Taylor.
Yep, you got it. Thanks, Ed. That's Joe Taylor, the man behind W1, or sorry, I can't even talk tonight. Anyway, he's Mr. Digital. Thank you very much, Al. I'll just move my mouth and you talk, okay? That'll work out good. Anyway, so we were really fortunate when we were down there. Alex actually, or not Alex, but Joe, I don't know if you guys know, but he's a Nobel Prize winner. He won the Nobel Prize, I believe, in 2019 or something like that.
1993.
Really?
Yeah,
1993?
1993 for a discovery in like 1978.
Okay, and he was working on the gravity waves, and he was really helpful because he let us take a look at his Nobel Prize, and he was handing it around. So we got a chance to take a good close look at his Nobel Prize and feel it and touch it. So now we know what it is. Who else did we see when we were there? I think I've covered a lot of it. There was a great many papers presented. All were excellent, including ours. And we're going to try to see if we can put a link onto the DSES website so that everybody can have access to it. And I think that's okay. So we actually got there on Thursday evening, and as I mentioned, we had about 200 attendees. Day one was Friday. They had two different streams of talks. One was most of the day for beginners, people who hadn't been on EME or wanted to know more about it. And then they had the regular stream with a lot of technical papers, which were excellent. On Saturday, the second day, everything was regular stream and so on and so forth. They had a dinner that night, and it was a great opportunity to meet a lot of other people. Sunday morning, we had the IARU presentation. Now, hopefully I got it right there. And that was zoomed in from the UK as well as Italy, I believe. So let's see how much I screwed up on this thing. Roger, you go ahead.
About what?
Oh, the rest of all the things I missed.
So I actually attended the beginners classes because, to be honest, DSES allowed me to fall into a very technical area of ham radio without much work. So I actually attended the 101 series, which was excellent. A lot about antennas and the equipment, the basic equipment you need, et cetera. I mean, it was a good introductory course. Well, Alex and Paul attended the more advanced track of EME. So they had an excellent setup, having both this beginners series. They actually divided the conference room in half and had two different tracks, and both tracks, well, I'm assuming from Paul's glowing comments that his track was really well done, and so was mine. That's about it.
Okay.
Well, I want to also mention, since nobody mentioned about the actual presentation that we presented. Yes, we met people, we talked, we chat, but when we had our presentation about our site, a lot of people were interested because people heard, but they didn't know details. So it was very good to present all these details about our community and what we do here, and particularly 23 centimeter CME. So I've been asked a lot of technical questions afterwards about the Diane package, and they were curious about the other bands, so work in that direction. So for me, it was a very good technical aspect of our presentation and presenting. Also meeting old friends that I know for 20 years. Also one thing I want to add about the newsletters that Al Katz was doing 432 and above. If anyone subscribed for that. If not, it's all about the EME that taking place above 70 centimeter band. So they're willing to add the portion from radio astronomy, the section. So they'll post a lot of news. So it will be also good avenue for us, the DSES, to post any information on newsletter to allow others to learn about what we do at Haskell, Colorado more. That's what I want to add.
Actually, because Mike Parsons just joined us, I'd like to, I'm wondering if your number of hits increased lately on your YouTube channel, since I gave a nod to Ham Solo, telling people if they wanted more information on the dish, that you had several videos up on your channel for the dish.
I hadn't had a chance to look at any of the analytical data recently, so I can check though when I get a chance.
Okay, just wondering. You got a pitch.
Yeah.
And also I want to say, Ray, everyone was asking me about you. So I'm saying hello you from all people that you know and know you. So they were asking, where is it, Ray? So hello to Ray from all of them. You're famous.
Well, Ray's been around a few years doing this stuff. I remember going to Ray's house in 1975. He had a 20-foot dish, and he was doing EME on a homemade 432 here in Colorado Springs. So he's been around a few years doing this. So thanks a lot to Paul, Roger, and Alex for making the journey to Trenton, New Jersey, and representing DSES. And Mark, I want to apologize. I missed you. You missed your face here when I first opened introductions there. What's your call, Mark? A VK call?
My call is VK6PY, Victor Kilo 6 Papa Yankee.
And as far as EME goes, what bands do you work EME on? So
I'm very much a beginner. I've made one EME contact with Bernd in Germany before he passed away on 434. So I'm looking to build a dish, but I went to the conference really to learn. So I went to the EME 101 stream, learned a lot there, met lots of people, but I'm at the beginning of the journey really.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. Do you have some folks, fellow hams down there in your neck of the woods who you can work with or tap into for information?
Not many. Western Australia is very remote, and
oh yeah, you're in Western.
One of the main reasons I want to do EME is because it enables me to reach further.
Yeah.
Most of the work I've done up until now has been through satellites.
Yeah.
But even LEO is not that busy for me in my part of the world, and I've been using GreenCube mostly to kind of reach into Japan and a little bit into Europe. But the moon is the ultimate satellite, right? So I kind of
That's a fact.
decided that might be my next target.
Amy, on VHF 2 meters is doable very easily. 32 as well, 1296 a little challenging, but it's definitely worthwhile effort. The EME Facebook website has been really hopping lately with new folks, new beginners, and a lot of people interested in EME. Anybody have any questions for Paul, Mark, or anybody else that attended the conference?
I'll just comment that we were well represented. They did a very well done professional job of presentation, not just in content, but in demeanor. It was well done. I would put it in top presentations that we saw.
I'd agree with that.
Also, presentation is available to download for everyone, so it's in the same package as other material, so that will spread more information around the world.
Okay.
I was
Could
wondering,
you please as to where to download that? Maybe drop a link in the chat window.
Yes, that's what I mentioned. Yeah, it's actually on the EMB conference website. Just Google it, 2024 Trenton EME conference, and there is a specific link for that, and you can download the entire package. It's archived, and there is a lot of good information, except one presentation about European allocations that recently changed. That wasn't there, but everything included our presentation in the same package. So I encourage everyone to download, and meantime, look at it. There's a lot of good information.
Yeah, I just put it in the chat window. So that's the that'll bring you to the splash page, and then there's a downloads tab, and you can download the presentations from there.
is it a recording or is it just a PowerPoint?
It's just the PowerPoints.
Did they record it at all?
Not that I know of.
No, they didn't.
In fact, I'm very sure they did not.
Okay.
They were recording.
They wanted people to attend the conference.
They were recording only movie because it was a memory of Al Katz. So they were doing some video and movie about that, but not particularly presentation.
Okay.
Who broke the camera?
Yeah, what was interesting was Al had asked Joe Taylor to present something about gravity waves, and it was never really clarified before he passed away. And Joe actually did a really good presentation on basically the history of gravity waves from Einstein in 1915 through LIGO in 2015. And you know, some of the detours and interesting stories and all that came along the way. It was a really I found it a very fascinating presentation, just being a basic science buff.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, everyone, for that. I'll definitely look at that website to get that link. To get a lot of good information on those, like Central States VHF, like Microwave Update, their conferences. They all publish usually a book, which costs you money. But this time around, I guess it's all available on their conference website. Did they say where the next conference, when and where it's going to be?
They have a tentative vote for Tenerife in 2026, excuse me.
Yeah, right.
And that's every 2 years they have this conference.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tenerife, interesting. Not a direct flight there from Denver, probably, but
I think that Alex found from Newark a fairly, you know, of course, at this point in time, inexpensive flight. The trick is to get to Newark.
yeah, okay.
They plan normally, historically, conferences were in August. Allow everyone that summer break and holidays and all that, but they're looking for May for 2026. So when I look at the prices for that May time frame, they were about $400 round trip from New York, direct flight.
Yeah,
and add the trip to New York from Denver.
Well, maybe they can work it one side or the other side of the Dayton Ham Fest. And the Europeans can stop by there on the way home or on the way to. Okay, see, you have some new people joining us. Want to say good evening to you for hooking up with us. So the next on the list agenda, the building update. There's a lot been going on. Bill Miller's been running the show for the last 100 years, and hopefully we can get this thing wrapped up. So go ahead, Bill.
Okay. I was just going to show you what we've done so far in the interior. The exterior of the building was finished last summer, but we've been having trouble getting contractors to finish off the rest. So I'm going to show you a couple pictures here. This is the radio room, radio corner. This is where the ham radio station will be. Everybody, Bill, I'm assuming you can see this since it's got a green box around it.
We don't see a green box.
You don't see
No, no, I see it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. We
All right.
can see it.
Okay, good. And so there's that. There's the ham radio corner. This is the other side. This would be the southwest corner of the building in the operations room. This is where the consoles will be that run the dish. You can see the conduits coming out of the floor there that will come up under the consoles. You see the dish out the window. This is all these wires coming out of the wall here are all the Ethernet connections. I think I counted last week there were something pushing about 20 hardline Ethernets that we added to the building so that we don't have to use Wi-Fi. We've got Ethernet jacks all over the place and outlets for cameras and that sort of thing.
Shielded Ethernet.
Yeah, shielded Ethernet wire, Cat 6. And there's the whole room. We haven't put the plates on the outlets yet, although we do have power in the radio room, and I haven't gotten Corey Miller is the electrician. I haven't got him out to put the outlets in the other rooms yet, but we're working on that. This is just some paint that I had to put in this particular file, so I'm going to skip it. Here's one of the contractors working on the trim. You can see they've gone in and added all this trim and added the caulking, and then they painted all this, and you'll see that in a minute. Looks pretty messy right there, but they're painting trim. I chose these colors. I hope you guys like the colors. This will be the kitchen. This guy over on the right-hand side, that is our actual contractor. That's Josh Laughlin, and he's from La Junta, and he's got a crew of about 4 other people that come out with him, and they work on this this building for us. They've been working on it for about 3.5 weeks. So I haven't seen him down there in the last couple of days, but he said he'd be there tomorrow when we go down to receive the cabinets. I've got a cabinet delivery coming for this kitchen tomorrow, and I've got to go to the site. Myron's going to go down with me. Anybody else that wants to go down to the site, you're sure welcome. I think Ray said he was going to go down, do some antenna work, but we can use all the help we can get on the site to do other work. So anybody wants to go down, let us know. So there's the kitchen. That's looking across the classroom as they're working on it. It's all the outlets. I take a lot of pictures of all of the utilities on each of the walls. So if we have any kind of problem down the road, we know where things are and we can measure off the pictures. There's a shower in the bathroom, the hallway going to the back. This is another shot of the radio and operations room in a panorama. Let me get to the finished pictures here. As you can see, things are progressing as I go through these. There's the garage. They got the garage floor all painted, all the paneling in. We decided to put in steel panels into all of the areas that we didn't have wallboard for. And that was much easier and faster and much less expensive to put up than wallboard. That's the garage. There's the bathroom.
Bill,
Go ahead.
hopefully in those corners where we had the Ethernet cables run for cameras, that they're, oh yeah, maybe I can see a wire hanging down there. I was hoping that that those are still accessible.
Right. Yeah. Most of these wires that we left in the corners for the cameras are accessible. I don't think we covered any up, but I'll have to check on that. But we put Ethernet wires up into the corner so we could go outside the building and wire cameras onto the outside on the soffit. So that's kind of what we were looking for. And Roger helped me put all those in. In fact, I think you put most of the camera outlets in there, Roger. Let's see, that's the bathroom, as it's got the floor done and all the paint done. Hasn't got the, I do have the toilet and the vanity and the mirror and all that stuff down there, but that hasn't been installed yet. That's the hallway to the back. Looks like, let me admit Fred in. Okay, there we go. And then this is the finished classroom. And we just have to install the power. And tomorrow I'm going to fill that up with boxes of cabinets for the kitchen. There's the kitchen, classroom. And that's about it. So you can see we're getting real close to finishing off the interior of the building. Any questions on that?
I assume there has to be a inspection when it's done. Do you
I
have
don't
a,
think so. It's interesting that the inspections, the only inspections required by Kiowa County are the electrical and the plumbing. And so we'll have to have the final electrical inspected and the final plumbing inspected. But as far as the structure and all that, we already have a certificate of occupancy, and they have no inspectors for the building interior or structure or any of that. So we're kind of on our own to make sure that it's safe and compatible with the regs. We've done a pretty good job of that. Oh, one thing I didn't mention is also the septic. We had to have soil tests done for the septic. The mayor of Haswell is actually the soils engineer that gives the approval for the septic. She came out. That's Michelle Nelson. She came out. We had to dig 3 holes in the septic line going out, and she had to evaluate the strata of the soils in those holes so we could get a permit actually from Crowley County to do the septic. And it's interesting that the counties down there, because they don't have a lot of resources, they share resources between counties. And so the Crowley County actually gave us the permit for the septic.
so so basically the approval happened a lot easier once you donated to her next campaign?
Actually, no, Michelle was pretty tough on us. she's a friend of the DSES, but she didn't give us any favors in this process. She was pretty tough. And so I was actually kind of happy that if we're going to do it, we might as well do it right. So she was very specific on where we had to dig the holes and how deep they had to be. And I mean, they were deep holes, like 8 feet deep.
It's a perk test.
Yeah, and they used to do a perk test, but now they do a strata evaluation. And so they dig this hole with it. We had to have the contractor come out with his excavator and dig these deep holes and then cover them up so that something wouldn't fall in them. But they're about 8 feet deep. You could easily get lost in one and couldn't get out. So that's about it. We're going down, like I said, we're going down tomorrow. The interstate freight is going to deliver the kitchen cabinets from Lowe's. The cabinets cost us about $6,300 or so. I picked up countertop from Lowe's today and a sink from Home Depot and various pieces and parts today to take down to get the kitchen kicked off. And so we should get that installed here this next week. And then we've still got heat pumps to do and a few other things, but it's coming along. So that's all I've got.
Yeah, Bill, this is Ray. I won't be able to go down tomorrow. I've got a radio station out there.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll go down and hope that our contract, I'll send him a note and make sure that he's going to be there as well if we need any extra help unloading the cabinets.
Yeah, I'll
So
be
we
down
should be
with
okay.
Paul on Friday.
Yeah, I was wondering if you guys wanted to, you're going to come down on Friday. Any reason you're not going Saturday?
No. I mean, that's Paul.
I know. Yeah, I know. I know Mark from Australia was talking about going down Friday, and he's probably got a schedule he's trying to keep for international travel. But what I was thinking was I'd call the gentleman that Dave Muller turned us on to for the water and see if he could deliver some water for our cistern. But he can't do it except on weekends. So I was trying to figure out if we could line that up with people going down.
Oh.
But I'll ask him. I'll call him and ask him. And if you can't do it, I'll do it. I'm just making a lot of trips.
Yeah,
So Ray, you're going down, not this Friday, but next Friday?
this Friday, so I said he's going down.
Yeah,
This
it'll be this
you're going
Friday.
down. Okay, I'll see if I can swing going down that day. Because I want to try a bird solution.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got some half-inch hardware cloth down there. If nothing else, we'll use that. But yeah, okay.
12 gauge is not an option. Okay. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Bill, for the update on that. And yeah, Mark and Paul and Ray's Friday, Bill and I tomorrow, and Roger, I guess you'll go down. You say Saturday or Friday then? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
when anybody
I'll
goes
see
down,
if I can swing that.
yeah, when we go down, we try to go down in pairs. Bill goes down a lot by himself, but he's usually down there with a contractor. So for safety reasons, go down in twos. If you show up by yourself, give a call to somebody who knows that you're there. If you're either Paul or Bill can track people on the cameras down there. So we have a way to keep track of people that way. But bottom line is, for safety reasons, we want to make sure everybody is covered, knows that you're there on site.
Yeah,
Plus,
Mark.
plus
Hey,
I'm
Mark,
not comfortable enough to run the dish on my own. So having
Well,
it there will be a
Yeah, I
comfort.
prefer, if you're not familiar with the dish, don't run it.
Hey, Mark, I don't know whether I told you this, but we do have snakes. I hope you're okay with snakes.
Right. Okay. Yeah, we have those in Australia. They're not my favorite, if I'm honest. I try and avoid them as much as possible.
Okay. Well, a lot of people with your accent usually work on snakes a lot on TV. So
We got rattlers down there. Boy,
We actually have coral snakes too. That's something I didn't believe, but I found one. Incidentally, speaking of cameras, Paul, just to let you know, the front yard camera looking at the building went off at about 4 o'clock this afternoon,
I saw that.
and it came back on at 4:30, and it came back on at 6:20 or so, and then it went off again. So I don't know what's going on there, but
anybody look at the weather radar to see what thunderstorm?
no, the weather was clear when it went off, so I don't know what that was about.
Okay. Boy, I had something to add. Oh, I was gonna see. Let me see. I saw Don Lewis. Don Lewis, you're still on here. Yeah, there you are. I forgot to say hello to Don. Don is one of our longtime members, pre 2000, before pre-Paul Flischner site. He was one of the Table Mountain dish mechanics up there for many years. When did you get started with DSES, Paul? I mean, Don?
You need to turn your microphone.
Hello, Don. Unmute.
There you go.
Let's see.
There you go.
Well, I don't remember. It's been a long time. Yeah. I'm trying to remember when 1970 something, I think.
Yeah.
But I can't remember for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, was you one of the original members of the 1990 incorporation?
No. Let's see. No, so it had to be after that, but probably not too long after that.
Yeah. Well, I first met Don back in 2012, I believe, or 2013. We were down there, and that was the day that I got introduced to DSES, and they were still shoveling 3 feet of mud out of the battery room in the bunker.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was an experience, let me tell you. But Don and Paul Berge and the railroad guy. I can't remember his name.
Oh, that is
Adam.
Adam
Adam Glazer.
Adam
And,
Glazier.
yeah, and they were instrumental in keeping that site getting that site started down there. And we really appreciate all the effort. You guys put many, many days, hours, weekends, months, and years in that project. So again, I always thank you for doing that. We got a lot of history to talk about at DSES as well. So you gonna be able to make it for the open house?
Probably not. That's a bit of a trip.
Yeah, it's a long way down there. We'll try to get Bergie down there. So anyway, thanks for joining us tonight, Don.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up when I was doing the archives from Denver, when I was interested in finding out if we had any information on the details of how the thing was built.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I was looking at the date of my records here, but I don't remember. I don't know why I can't see what that is.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff was on the original website, DSES.org. And I think Don didn't you get all that information off the old website, Don? When you closed it out, DSES.
Yeah, I have the old website as a download, but I've been unable to transfer it to anyone. I don't know why.
Okay.
There's a lot of pictures and stuff, and if people really want that stuff, I could go through and put it into some other format somehow so that it's not a website anymore. I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
There may be some things in there to keep it from being poached or something.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, all the individual files are there with photographs and text.
Okay. Yeah, we need to save that information, so we'll try to some way get that information transmitted.
Well, I can always put it on a stick.
Yeah, that's fine.
Send it. I mean, that's the easiest way to do it these days.
Yeah, I'd be we're great, Bill or myself, and we can get it analyzed.
Okay, well, I'll try to go back and visit it sometime real soon. Real soon now, as they used to say.
Yeah, not a high priority, but we would like to have that by tomorrow. Okay, no, just kidding.
Okay.
Just kidding.
I got it.
Okay. Ray, what do you have for us as far as the dish feed update?
Okay, the current feed is the 1420 and 1665 feed. It's a dual range feed. It's up there. Both ranges are now working correctly. And we did use already the 1420 some time ago. Dan and I were down there and got a really good trace on our favorite pulsar, but we want to do that also again at 1665 and make that gives us a really good feel as to how well the feed operates at that frequency. So we want to do that, and then we'll probably keep this feed up for maybe only another 6 weeks or so, something like that. Maybe not even that long. And then we'll move it over to the moon bounce feed again and get that ready for our open house work down there. But anyway, if anybody wants to do any radio astronomy of any kind, including hydroxyl lines or masers and things, now's the time to do it. And that's all I got.
Okay, thanks, Ray. Lewis Putman, I see you're on here tonight. You and Glenn have been working on the dish steering mechanics and software. How's that project going?
Well, we haven't gotten as much work done this summer as we'd like. Glenn is kind of in the process of, I'll say, re-architecting the software a bit to separate out the kind of the servo controls from the user interface stuff. I think that could be of benefit when we get the 30-foot dish up, and we should be able to use essentially the same software with just a bit of a different interface to the drive, the motor drives and position sensing equipment that's going to be on the 30-footer. So, and I've been working on incorporating a pulsar detection flow into the System 1 receiver. Basically started with the flow that Dan gave me. And what I'm really doing is just adding an interactive user interface on the front end of it so that you can run it a little more interactively as opposed to kind of more batch mode. So that's, and kind of have a prototype of that going, and Glenn and I want to go down sometime soon and give that its first test. And then I want to try to integrate it into the overall receiver a little better than it currently is. So again, the overall objective is to have a receiver out there that works in conjunction with the mount control and is pretty straightforward to set up. People that are not as experienced can go out there and just do tests on it without having to do a lot of setup and such. That's the current state.
Yeah, Lewis, this is Ray.
Yeah.
Do you remember the name of the encoders where you bought the encoders?
They're from AMCI. They apparently bought another company, but I can send you part numbers and everything if you want them. And
no, not really necessary. Paul was sent me a text and asked me that while he was at the EME conference, and I didn't remember. I was spaced out. I couldn't remember AMCI to save my soul. But anyway, that'll get it to Paul. He's on here listening, and so that's the manufacturer of the encoders. Thank you.
Thank
Sure.
you.
I think as far as we can tell, the 16-bit encoders haven't been used a lot, but so far they seem to be working pretty well. So that's encouraging.
Working very well.
Yeah, we both.
I had a question, Lewis. Are we connected? Are we under control of the 16-bit encoders right now, or still on the 12-bit encoders?
You can run either way. Glenn sent out some instructions, a month or two ago on how to run it. I think there are two different icons on the console that allow you to select which way you want to run. So.
Oh, good. Okay. Okay.
I've been using the 16 and it's working perfect.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, it's nice having both systems for redundancy, but and a kind of a prototype mode. So, yeah.
We have bought those encoders. It was part of the grant funding. We requested money for improvement of the disk control system, and I can't remember the exact amount, 2,500 to 3,000 or something like that. We spent roughly $1,900 on the encoders, and I think we're still under budget on that. And we had some money. Dan, was that part of your budget as well, or was that separate? I can't remember that without looking going back.
The encoders were separate.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We had the stuff that you ordered. We're under budget on that as well.
Are those Lewis? Are those absolute or relative?
They're absolute encoders. So they're 16 bits. The old ones were 12 bits.
Right.
Yeah, they're actually, I think, kind of resolver type technology. They're not optical encoders. So.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thanks, Lewis. And thanks you, Glenn. I got an email earlier tonight from Glenn. He wasn't able to make it tonight. So thanks, Lewis, for the update on that. Next on the list, does anybody have any questions before we jump to the open house update? that Paul is going to talk all about. I saw an email you sent out, Paul, concerning the open house, requesting help. So what else do you have?
Well, yeah, basically looking for arms and legs and people who know stuff to be able to help with the project. We've got the date set, obviously, for October the 5th. Some folks who wanted to come, they're going to the microwave update in Vancouver, which just happens to be the same weekend, unfortunately, but it is what it is. So anyway, that's all set up. We haven't really. I'm working on the brochure. We're going to try to edit it and have the brochure out so that we can send it out. I'm going to send it out to all the people on our group IO, as well as many of the other locations around. We're also going to be, of course, pushing it pretty hard at the Ham Fest is coming up in August, the end of August there with the Denver Radio Club. So there should be a good cross section of people there as well. Michelle Nelson, of course, has agreed to provide the pork barbecue along with all the fixings that go with it, and the drinks and soft drinks and everything else that we need. So she's going to be raising money for the 4-H club that's going to be that's there in the Haswell area. Other than that, I think we're all set. I don't think I have any other things to add to that. Any questions from anyone?
Last year we did some cleanup as far as beforehand, going down on Wednesday or Thursday to start some of the cleanup. Does the mowing need to be done, Bill? Of course, I'll be there.
Yeah, it does. Ray had a visitor and his grandson on last week. They came out and said they would volunteer to do some work for us around the site, and I think mowing was one of those things, if I'm not mistaken, Ray. So if the gentleman has a brush hog and could do some mowing, that would be great. I did a little bit of cleanup last time I was down around the building, but there's so much foliage and weeds that we need to take care of to get this ready. Last year we had the county road boss come in with his county mowers, and he mowed about half of our property, and that gave us a good parking lot and got most of the weeds down so we could walk around easily. But we need to do that again with some mower or brush hog in the area. We also got to get that water, so that's important.
Okay. Do you think we'll need a porta potty? I think we may have to, based on Don, your experiences running events up in Montana at your facility up there, it's good to have a porta potty instead of messing up your own septic system. Is that what you said in months past? We talked
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's kind of an expense, and it's easy to dispense with and very difficult it's hard on the stuff.
Yeah.
I think the internal, the bathroom in the building, even if it's finished, should be closed.
Okay.
It's simply a stampede, and oh boy, I'll tell you, it can get really grody really fast.
Well, yeah,
may want to use that for the handicap only.
Yeah.
Well,
and this is an untested bathroom. It's not even installed yet, and this will be the first time we put any real line into that bathroom. So,
yeah.
If we have somebody who really, but otherwise, I think the public ought to be kept out of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I bought the locks for the doors today.
Okay. So Paul, you have your contacts about get the.
Yeah, I contacted them about this, and they were acquired by another company that's further south. I forgot the name of the town, but it's almost at the Texas border, and so it increases the distance that they have to travel, which increases the cost. But if we go down to, instead of having 4, we just have like 2 porta potties, that might save us some money.
Gotta be somebody nearby local. I mean, geez, I think,
Yeah, and I tried my son-in-law too, who's one of the vice presidents of United Rentals that rents these things, and we're too far out for him. If we were another 30 miles closer to Pueblo, they could do it, but we're too far out.
yeah. Well, we'll figure something out on that, but that's definitely, we want to do that, go that route versus overloading the system we just built.
I'll ask the people in Eads next time I'm in town. I'll talk to the folks at the Loves and the other places and just ask them if there's another source now.
Okay, thanks. Want to welcome a new member to the club, Jeff Flogding, KC0. What was you called, Jeff? KC0ZJY.
Yeah, ZJY. It's last plotting.
Okay, Jeff joined us from the Hamfest. You either Paul or Bill might have talked to him. We had a lot of people there at the Hamfest. I forgot to mention that earlier, at the Mega Fest on the 27th of July. And we ended up with a couple of renewals as well as 3 new members. So I want to thank again, and we got a lot of information out to a lot of people from the Mega Fest. So Jeff is one of the new members.
Yeah, I didn't know there were, you guys were even around here. I thought I was stuck with reading books, and I joined Sarah a couple years ago. So I didn't realize there was a local group here in town. So that's the first thing I did when I walked through the doors. I seen your guys' booth, and that was it for me.
Oh, great. Great. Well, Rich Russell, the president of Sarah, is our former board member and president of DSES. And there's quite a few members here at DSES that are members of Sarah as well. So thanks for joining and thanks for being here tonight. We also had another member on an email that I answered today. He was driving through the area and actually visited the site. He would like to make contact with when somebody's down there. So that was his first experience. And again, he was a new guy and never knew we were there, and he's interested in radio astronomy. So we'll get him more information. So I gave him the website for tonight and the DSES information. So hopefully he'll contact us for an on-site visit. Any questions at all? Is this open discussion time?
Well, I had one other note. Paul and I worked on the first time I gave the new open house presentation to the 6 meter group. I failed to record it, so we did it again, and I hope Paul recorded it. Right, Paul?
I got it.
And so he got it. So we'll put that up with Bill on the website.
Okay. I tried to log in last week. I was in Fairbanks and tried to log in, but I just could never connect. It got me to the Zoom link and it said stand by, and that was it.
Huh.
So
no, we had it open. It wasn't like this meeting was set to have you had to request entry, and so I've been clicking it every time I see the icon come up. I click on it and let people in because I know you get busy when you're running the meeting. But we had an open meeting, so it should have let you in if you had a connection.
Okay.
And that's one of the things you want to do with Zoom. The thing of keeping people out is it's handy for security, but it can be a pain in the neck when you're the only person running the meeting. So you need a partner to click people in when you're running a meeting.
I got one more thing if you're finished,
Sure.
Bill.
Go ahead, Paul.
So yeah, Bill, I'm going to thanks for reminding me. I have to upload the presentation to the YouTube channels. I didn't do it yet. So I've got it on my computer here. I just have to upload it. So once we do that, everybody can see it. Do you want
to put it on YouTube, or should we just put it on DSES?
The DSES YouTube page.
Yeah.
And the Front Range.
Yeah, I was thinking about our website. I'm trying to draw people to our website rather than just YouTube.
Once it's on the YouTube channel, I'll put a link on the website and make it very prominent.
Yeah.
In fact, it'll replace several links that already exist from when you did this 4 years ago, maybe?
Yeah, about 3 years ago, we did another one. But
Yeah,
this
well,
was-
I'll update all those links with this latest one, and then I'll also put a link on the front page since it's a new, new presentation.
Can you also do the other thing, put a link in YouTube that links us to the DSES website?
Well, if you hit info on the YouTube site, I have the links there for the website.
Okay. Yeah, because what I'm trying to do is draw people to our website because there's a lot more information there than on YouTube. And if they
Oh,
see
yeah,
it on YouTube, it brings people into the org.
Right. They're cross-linked in both directions, as best you can with YouTube anyway.
Okay.
Okay. And for those of you on the meeting tonight, if you don't know, Bill Thomas, who just spoke, WT0DX is our webmaster. He's also the organizer of the Group IO, DSES Group IO. He controls that as well. So thank you for all the effort you put into that. And he also tags along with Paul Sabone when they go to the Hamfest in the local Denver area. You guys have covered quite a few of those over the last few years. So thanks for that.
We just love to talk. That's it. I got one more thing that's going on too. The week before the open house, which is September the 28th, I believe that's a Saturday. We're going to have an SSTV party, and I'm going to be working with the guys in the EU and other parts of the world. And the objective of the party is to see how many people can pick up our pictures and send them to us. And I'm going to need a SSTV at DSES.science, or whatever our email address is, Bill. If it's okay with everybody else, I want to have SSTV so that the emails will come to one place and not to the board. But we're going to get all the pictures that everyone sends, and I'm gonna, if Bill agrees, I'm gonna have a link posted to the international links, or to the international moon.net group bios, so they can access our website to see their picture. So this is another way to draw people in, as Myron was saying.
What date are you doing this SSTV EME?
Yes, that's the whole idea. It's going to be off EME. There's there was one earlier this year. It was sponsored by the guys in, I forget what country, but is the Netherlands. That's what it was. And they're and they were doing it because they wanted to send pictures of the Apollo missions. And so they sent a lot of those around. But Bill and I have been playing around with the software here, and I was able to send Bill a really good picture, even in a thunderstorm. So the software works.
And what weekend was this going to happen?
This will be the 28th of September.
September 28th.
I believe. Let me just check my calendar. I screw up a lot, guys, as you probably gathered. Let me just check here. September, 28th. That's a Saturday. I'm going to be down before then, of course, to help set up and test it all and make sure everything works.
Okay. Go ahead, Dan.
Just two quick comments. First, I appreciate Ray putting our new dual band feed back up. I can't get down there this week, but I hope to get down later in August and again early September to not only test pulsars again, but also go ahead and detect some masers at the hydroxyl frequencies. The second comment is we need to consider some baseline performance tests before and after the move. So it's going to depend on which feed is up. For example, if the 1420 feed is up when we actually relocate our rack and set up the cabling, then I'd want to do some 1420 tests before we move, and then after we move into the new building and get connected, just to help identify any cabling problems or anything. Lewis could also do some hydrogen tests before and after. And then the same thing, if the 1296 feed is up when we actually relocate, then we could use the ham radio capability and do some before and after performance test, or we can also do pulsars for before and after. Anyway, just something to think about. We ought to do some benchmark testing so we know how we're doing in the new building.
Good idea. Speaking of moving, we still have yet to obtain the cabling we need or order anything that we need for cables. So to run control cables and whatever else we need to buy between the pedestal and the new racks. So
Yeah, when we're there tomorrow, Myron, we should take a look at the rack and the trailer.
Okay.
And see what we need, and then get it on order.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we have an account at Blazer. We can probably get an account at Granger.
Yeah.
There's also the cable company that provides all kinds of cables in Colorado Springs, so we might check them out. But at any rate, I'm thinking what we have there now is like there's 2 individual cables for the control system that are 12 wires each, and they all wire into a block on the back of the rack in the trailer. And so I don't know if we need all of those, but we might as well just plan for that so we have additional lines that we can use for push to talk and power and all the various things that we use up in the feed. So need to get that stuff on order. And also, I think we already have the coax that you and Rick picked up at the Restore store, and so that'll go a long way.
Yeah, need to figure out how much of that we need to run, how many runs of that LMR 600. So we got 1,000 feet of LMR 600 that we got. I found at the Habitat store. Actually, it was 3,000 feet of LMR 600 for roughly 20 cents a foot by the time we paid for it. Brand new. And I think, Rick, you said it's not variable. It's above ground type cable. And also we got 500 feet of LMR 900, and that was all part of the deal. Through about 4 rolls of cable for the price of 3. And Rick came out as soon as I told him, we overloaded his vehicle to take it back to his house. So bring 1,000 feet of that down to Haswell, then he's going to use the others since he bought it all.
Yeah, Rick's our benefactor on that cable. That's appreciate it, Rick.
Rick bought 3,000 feet up, and he donated 1,000 to us. So, I was a lucky find. I showed up that day, and there it was. And I hung on to it till Rick showed up. Didn't want to make anybody else buy it out from under us.
That's the place to get it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks a lot for everybody for joining. Anybody else have any other questions or comments, suggestions?
Yeah, real quick, Paul. I'm going. I got reservations starting Thursday night for the open house, so I'll be down there that entire stretch. I will comment that it is extremely difficult making reservations to calling the Cobblestone. It took me like 5 phone calls, numerous promises of callbacks that never happened and all that, and it just barely happened today. The guy was able to I think it was Toby was able to get a reservation, but I kept on being told to call when the manager was there, and I call when the manager was supposed to be there, the manager wasn't there, and it just went on and on and on. If you've got some friends there at the Cobblestone Inn, I think that manager needs to talk to the staff a little bit more closely about reservations. Because they don't lose anyone just because they can't make reservations down there.
The hard part is to give us the nonprofit status because it's a special button they have to push, and not all the guys know how to do that. So that's why that's why you want to talk to the manager. And usually she's in there in the mornings, probably around between 9 and 11. And that would be my only suggestion. Other than that, you can try on the website. But you won't get the lower.
You won't get the discount then, yeah.
You'll be probably paying a higher rate because I think they give us also a special rate because we're a local company.
There was a comment.
Flyer.
What was that again, Bear?
I say we are frequent flyers, so they're glad we fill up.
Yeah. One comment that Don Lewis made on the chat page was in T22, which was the Boulder or the Longmont site on for the other two dishes, 60-foot dishes. He said it was in 2002 that they were. Was it 2000? I thought it was later than that. But anyways, about that time that Don became familiar with DSES and joined the organization. So he has a lot of history behind this organization. And we did have at our first open house, one of the original, he's a life member. Let me bring his name up here real quick. He came out to the site, drove down there with his wife, and he was actually an intern for the University of Colorado at Boulder one summer, and he came down to visit us. He worked there on site back when they had the 500-foot tower, back when they had the science that they were doing the, well, I lost the link I was looking for. They were looking for the, using the dishes for tropospheric work.
So Paul, do you remember the guy you talked to about lubrication? I think that's who.
Yeah,
No, it's Paul Berge. Paul Berge.
Yeah, Paul Berge talked to me about it. I'd love to see some documentation on the building. I did talk to some people about dish lubrication when I was at the conference, and they gave me some ideas. So
okay, that's good, because we do need to do some some maintenance, preventive maintenance on that system. Lawrence, was it Robert Lawrence? I believe it was, yeah. Lawrence was his last name, from Boulder. And the other one, life member that came down, I guess that was it. He came down. So anyway, it's always fun to seeing people down there, and hopefully we'll have another good turnout. And I missed it last year, but I heard the food was really good.
Yeah. Hey, I had one other question. We still got the racks and everything in Rick's garage or his barn. And I'm wondering how we can organize a party to get those out of there and get them moved to the site and installed.
I'm out of town the rest of this week. Going on a train ride on the Home Res and Toltec Railroad.
Oh,
very good.
Fun on doing that. It's a good
Yeah.
drive.
So we'll start looking for open spots next week
Okay.
and beyond. And eventually we'll find a day when the right people are all available. Then I need a team here to help me load them on my trailer. And I'll tow everything down there. I also have the two counterweights that we originally left behind on the 30-foot dish. I want to try to find a way to get them on the trailer also.
Okay. All right. Well, we can organize a work party to get that done and get it moved and get it out of your way. And that'd be great.
I have a question for Ray and Dan. What receiver are you guys using on the combination 1420 and 1600?
So it's two separate lines, two separate feed lines. So I use on the 1420, we can use the B210, or we can use an SDR play. And then on the hydroxyl line, I'm just going to use SDR play because it's a line emission. I only need like 2.5 megahertz bandwidth.
Okay, are you gonna split the line? There's two lines.
Yeah, they're separate lines. So
they're about a few kilohertz apart. Is that, if I'm remembering right?
No,
two lines at 1600.
Oh, no, at 1600, there's one and a separate line at 1420.
Right.
Yeah, I think he may be referring to 1665 and 1667.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Are we going to be able to separate those two?
Sure. Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
Great. Yeah, because that'll be an interesting proposition, I think.
Yeah, so I plan to do, I've already written the scripts, so everything's scripted, but I have for the different frequencies. So it's 1612 and 1665. It'll be a different script. So basically, we're just tuning the dial on the SDR.
Right, right. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
I was going to say for all of us in knowing, what's the difference in these frequencies? What do the different frequencies indicate?
Different molecule emission.
Ah,
It's two different lines of the molecular spectrum
okay.
for OH.
That's it's interesting
Hydroxyl.
that they're that close, that they're that close together. That's interesting.
Well,
Yeah, I've
calcium's
forgotten
close to-
exactly. I've forgotten exactly how it works out, but
So we don't use the SpectraCyber anymore, right? Or any of the
we can pick it up and take it down there and play with it anytime, but we with SDRs, and Dan can elaborate, but we should be able to separate that and make a similar presentation with the SDRs. But we can get the SpectraCyber if we want it.
Yeah.
well, the new Mark II SpectraCyber is just an SDR with some software, isn't it?
I knew that the Jupiter receiver was that way now, but I don't know about the SpectraCyber.
Oh, okay. I thought I read across it somewhere that they had we're not using the old one anymore and are going to a new one. Or maybe I had it confused with something else. Never
Yeah,
mind.
that could very well be. You might be right there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something we probably ought to get back and work with because it's part of the group. I think Rich has commandeered it for now, right?
Yeah, I
Yes,
think he's
right.
got it. Yeah.
Do we have more than one of those?
No, I think there's only one.
Okay. Well, I don't have anything else. As I say, you guys can continue open discussion. Thanks, Floyd, for running the show, recording. And we'll meet again next month, first part of September. I'll probably be out of town, but I should have internet where I'm going to be at in Reno. So I'll probably run the meeting from there. Then we'll meet again at the end of September to organize the final organization of the open house. So
okay, I'll stop recording.